Mike Moore Media.
I'm talking to Summer Woodard, Reidsville City Manager. In the new year, hey, Happy New Year, Summer.
Happy New Year, Mike.
Oh, this is a big year. It's a Sesquicentennial year for you.
It certainly is, and we have already started kicking off some of our events.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, off to a good start, and I'm excited with you. So bring us up to date. Where are we and everything?
So for those who are able to attend, we certainly appreciate it. We kicked off our new year with our clock tower unveiling, and that was on Saturday, January the 7th. And I did just want to put a little plug out there for our listeners. Some of you may have noticed that the time had been off on the clock tower, and that's not a malfunction or anything of the clock tower. Unfortunately, Duke Energy, when we had the unveiling, they were only able to provide us temporary power. They were a little bit behind schedule just because of some of the winter storms we had back in December and around Christmas. Mm-hmm. So they did provide temporary power for the ribbon cutting, and I'm happy to report today that there is full power restoration at the clock tower as of today. But I did just want to bring that to the attention of our listeners in case they had thought, well, what's off with the time? The clock is fine. It was just a timing for Duke Energy, and they certainly did the best they could with the winter weather that they had upon them. So we appreciate them getting us on schedule.
Mm-hmm. That's a beautiful clock, too. That is absolutely a wonderful timepiece there for Reidsville.
It certainly is. And then a couple of things else for our listeners to think about. We did have our first open house last Saturday, January the 21st. It was from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. at our wastewater treatment plant. We had a great turnout, and I just want to thank any and everyone who came out to that and supported that department, because without that department, you know, it really carries the city of Reidsville forward with the services they provide.
Mm-hmm. It certainly does. So thanks to that team.
Absolutely. And then I do want to put a plug out there for our next event. Our next event is going to be February the 17th, and it's Friday, February the 17th, and it's going to be our next open house, and it's going to be at RCARE, and it'll be an open house for Parks and Rec and RCARE. And that open house is from 9 a.m. to noon. And then also we'll have our Black History program that same day at 10 a.m. at RCARE. So if you've got anything you want to come out and see RCARE, our beautiful facility there, also our program of Black History Month, that's going to be Friday, February the 17th. Come on out at 9 and stay there with us till noon. But it is a drop-in event as well.
That's a lot going on that day.
It is. We're very excited. So that'll be our next event. So, again, mark your calendars for February the 17th at RCARE from 9 to noon.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And what else is on the calendar, Summer?
So also with the calendar, that's all we've got going in February. And then in March, I do want to provide an update. We are still on point and target to get our March 25th ribbon cutting of the Sky's the Limit Park. So if any of our listeners are driving by out behind City Hall facility here in town, you'll notice there's a lot of ground being moved and dirt moved, and we are in mid-phase of the park. So we are fingers crossed, and weather permitting, days like today certainly don't help. We are still shooting for that ribbon cutting on March 23rd. So for any of our listeners who do see the ground being disturbed out back, that is where our park is going to be.
Yeah, I was just by that yesterday in Reidsville. My wife and I were over there for a couple of things and lunch, and I drove by that, of course, because I said, we got to go this way so we can check this out. So, but yeah, that's coming along nicely. But March 25th, that Saturday is the big day for the Sky's the Limit Park. That's going to be a wonderful celebration.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah, okay. Well, those are some things to plan for, and you mentioned other things going on. The streetscape is all coming together, too, very nicely.
It is. So I will give an update on our streetscape. So where we are for this week, last week all of our crews completed all the curbing for several of our blocks, the large sections of sidewalks. Our electricians ran electrical infrastructure close to the roundabout. And this week, weather permitting, today's not the best day, but this week the final portion of the underground electrical infrastructure will be completed, with the electrician then pulling all necessary wiring and installing the pole lights along the entire block. And we are hoping that sidewalks will be completed on the west block, and most of the brickwork will be completed with the exception of Moorhead to South Scales Corner. We're also working with Duke Energy. They'll be on site to remove those light poles on the 100 East block of South Scales. And then our surveying crew will also begin staking the improvements on the East block so crews can begin demolition of curbing and sidewalks next week. And I do just want to briefly mention some of the bump outs. I know maybe some of our listeners are concerned with the bump outs, and I just want to reiterate that the city, we do realize that a lot of times parking is a very, very, very valuable asset to our downtown, and we are trying to look at ways to minimize that impact of losing some spaces because of the additional bump outs we place downtown. The bump outs are supposed to be a traffic calming measure and then also to provide some green space and greenery downtown. But we do want just to reassure our listeners that we do take that very seriously, and we are going to look at ways maybe to improve parking in our downtown with those spaces we have lost.
Okay. Yeah, I know you've probably gotten some feedback on those bump outs, but, when it's all done, because you see other cities that have a similar situation as what you're putting together, and it's going to be absolutely beautiful. Just a little more patience, please. Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah, okay. It's going to be nice. Lots of pieces to that puzzle with that streetscape and coordinating. I'm thinking all the crews and just getting it. There's so many things to put together for that. But, we came back that way through downtown and yesterday, and that's going to be so nice when that's all finished. Beautiful work.
Yeah, our team's doing a great job with that project.
Yes, indeed. Okay. Let's talk about your new IT director as of this month.
Yes, we are so excited to announce the hiring of Sherelle Williams. She is coming with us with over 15 years of experience working in the IT department for the city of High Point. We are so excited to have her on our team. She started with us the second week of January, and she has just jumped right in and is leading her department, and she is such a great asset to our organization.
Well, we're glad to have her there as a part of Team Reidsville. That's wonderful.
We are. Thank you.
Okay. Well, I know you've got a busy morning going. Anything else we need to mention?
The only other thing I wanted to mention was Monday was a huge day for the city and with Greensboro with the opening of the urban loop that opened. Mm-hmm. What that means for Reidsville, it is the economic impact that this could have on us is tremendous. You can be at the airport in under 30 minutes, and there's so much more that this urban loop opening provides. It will really open things up to move people and products quicker and safer to and from Reidsville. So that was a huge milestone that I know has been several years, if not decades, in the making. So that was a really, really neat event this week.
It certainly was. Yeah, I've done several stories on that as well. It's been well covered this week for sure. But, that's been so long in the making, and that final 4-mile stretch completed. I'm glad you mentioned that, Summer, because that is a real connector to our region, isn't it? And you just said.
It is. It is a main artery into our to the city of Reidsville. So we're really going to benefit from this opening.
Oh, that's wonderful too. Okay. Well, always a pleasure to have this time with you each month. Thank you, Summer, and we'll talk again in February.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Summer Woodard is Reidsville City Manager. And I hope you did make a note of that special event coming up February 17th, the next Sesquicentennial event, open house. That'll be at RCARE, Parks and Rec involved in that. Black History Month program at the same time. That's from 9 to noon. That's a floating event there too. But hope you'll be able to get to that. I wanted to mention it again because when Summer and I do our next program, that will have come and gone. So because that's always the fourth Wednesday in the month when she and I talk. And then March 25th, still the date set for the Sky's the Limit all-inclusive park opening there as that work continues and the streetscape and all of the good things happening in Reidsville. Please support our Reidsville businesses, shop local. There are so many wonderful places to shop in Reidsville, and we appreciate your business. Now, I did want to mention, speaking of shopping, Strader's Shoe Store, one of our longtime sponsors on this program, and I'm on their Facebook page right now looking at all of the good things there that they have as the new year begins. Of course, Strader's Shoe Store has been serving generations since 1933. That is absolutely amazing when you look at how long they've been there. And Sam Lindsay and his team there now just have such a wonderful selection of everything you need in the way of famous brands, more than 75 brands of footwear, men, women, and kids, great selection. And yes, good supply of boots for the family, warm socks made in North Carolina. We still need those for a little bit longer. And all kinds of spring items coming in too at Strader's Shoe Store in Penrose Mall. Also want to mention the Reidsville Chamber of Commerce and Visitor Center. They're right downtown on South Scale Street, where the streetscape is all coming together, right in Diane's front door. You can get in if you're new to the area and see Starr and Diane Sawyer, the president of the chamber, and the other members of the chamber team if you're new to the area, because they have racks and racks of information not only about Reidsville and Rockingham County, but about the region as well. And I'm excited to announce that Diane Sawyer, president of the Reidsville Chamber of Commerce, starting next Monday, the 30th, will be doing a monthly podcast here on Mike Moore Media. So be sure to tune in for that. And, of course, Diane has her other programs, and you'll find more information about what the Chamber is doing on their Facebook page. And that's our program for today. Thank you for listening.